Morning. How's everybody doing? Happy Monday. Another week in the pit. Very exciting. Lots going on this week again. Got lots of news, lots of earnings, lots of changes in the COT report this week as well. So lots of stuff going on. Morning, Rohat. So we'll have a look at the markets in a minute. Just bear with me. I'm just scalping the DAX at the minute. Not very successfully this morning, I have to say. $400 down, but I'm just trying to get this gap fill this morning. It looked like this gap fill was filling this morning. Out the basically, as soon as we came out the gate, we pulled back beautifully and started pulling back down. So I entered in here and rode that down, and it looked like it was just, sometimes you just get these gap fills where it just goes like that, and it's just like, yeah, whatever. I'm just going to come down here, and then we'll decide what we're going to do for the day. And I was playing that basically, and it didn't work. It got up here and stopped me out. I exited basically because it just didn't look right. And then it started to come back down. So I got in again and got stopped out again. And then it chopped around a bit. And then I tried to play the Open, the Frankfurt Open. And it popped back up there and stopped me out again. So I'm having one more crack at getting this gap fill, basically, just to get back to break even if I can today. And I'll start again later. But it's not going well. DAX is being an absolute cow this morning. But we'll see. So yeah, I'm just playing this. But we'll have a look at the news, and we'll have a look at the COT report while we're waiting for the DAX to go and fill that gap for me. Anyway, so just quick. Let's start off with the news this morning. Anybody do anything exciting at the weekend? I had a very, very dull weekend this weekend. Didn't do an awful lot interesting. So, here you go. There's my weekend. Didn't do a lot. Watched a football match with my son, but that's about it. But let me know if you got up to anything exciting. So, I'm just going to monitor this. That's already tested that wick. So, I'm just going to protect this. Here, I don't want to get any more. Too much more loss on this. I'm just going to cover it there. So, I can walk away from the screen. Right, this week, quite a bit of news this week. So today, nothing much at all. We've got George speaking later, but that's about it. So no real news today. So just normal market movement expected today. Tomorrow morning, early hours, Aussie dollar rates are out. So we'll have some good movement on the Aussie dollar in the morning. Canadian GDP tomorrow afternoon. PMI tomorrow afternoon for the US dollar. And then late evening, just before market close, we've got the unemployment figures for the New Zealand dollar. So big news day tomorrow. We've got loads of red news in there. So there'll be some decent movement around. Then straight over to the Aussie dollar again the next day. Low is speaking. We've got OPEC, which could affect the CAD all day on Wednesday. We've got non-farm employment change, obviously, on Wednesday, first week of the month, basically, so it's always non-farm. Crude again for the CAD, and then we've got Macklem for the CAD in the evening. So, again, big news day specifically for the CAD tomorrow, and obviously for the US dollar a little bit. Then we got pound on Thursday at lunchtime. We got GDP and the bank rate. So again, massive day for the pound on Thursday. Morning, Alec from Italy. Cool. Then we got Bailey speaking. We've got the refinance rate for the euro just after that. Then we've got the ECB press conference. And then we've got manufacturing services PMI for the US in the afternoon. So literally, it's going to explode every day this week. It's massive news week. And then obviously we finish the first week of the month is always non-farm. So we've got non-farm payroll on Friday. So again, yeah, big week for news. So keep your eyes peeled all week. Literally every day, sort of 4 or 5 hours apart, we've got big news happening across multiple currencies. So there's going to be a lot of really good movement this week. So that's that. Let me just quickly flip over to my... Yeah, stopped out. Urgh, God, this thing's doing my brain in this morning. Walk away. COT. Movement on the COT this week. So as expected, US dollar powered up more. Obviously, we was expecting the US dollar to power up after we had that accumulation drop, broke back into the range and got taken out the top of the range. So yeah, beautiful pullback and push for the US dollar. More money came in for the US dollar on the last COT. So more futures interest going long US. The pound has confirmed long. So again, the pound flip long. Remember I say every time we flip long, like we have one with the New Zealand this week, I like to see that hold and continue, because quite a lot of the time what you'll do is you'll have it flip-flop like this. So it will just go 1 week and then it will pop back the other direction, or sometimes a couple of weeks, but occasionally you get that. So it's pound, we have officially got power coming through for the pound. So we hopefully will see some movement on that. Positive. CAD, no change. Euro, no change. Dead in the water. We'll stay dead in the water until Lagarde comes out and says something that he was going to change that. Swiss franc, we kind of ignore. Yen, no change again on the yen. Still got no idea on the yen. Directional bias on the yen. I'm still swaying long. Power for the yen. So short everything against the yen. But I'm really, really not happy with any directional bias on the yen at the minute, so I'm kind of steering a little bit clear of it, but we'll see what happens with that one. I'm expecting it to power up along with the US dollar. That's my only kind of bias on it at the moment, but officially it is a short, so you want to be longing everything against the yen. But it's weak at the moment. It is weak at the moment, but at any moment that could flip, so we'll see. New Zealand dollar has flipped long, and the Aussie has remained as is. So these two are really out of sync and have been out of sync for a while. They used to be in sync all the time, and they're not anymore, although the directional movement on both of them seems to still be the same. So not sure about that one. We'll see what happens with it, but officially that is now a long. So I haven't adjusted the EA yet. I've got the EA running on H4M15 with COT bias. I haven't adjusted the EA yet this week to flip long on that yet, because I'm not convinced about that one, because these two work in tandem together, and the Aussie hasn't shifted at all. Afternoon, Richard from the Philippines. Oh, afternoon in the Philippines already. So not sure on that one, but yeah, some decent movement on the COT. So yeah, we've had a confirmation on that, which is the most important thing. So looking for longs on pound pairs at the moment. Earnings this week, another massive week of earnings. Not a bad week next week as well, but this is obviously week 2 of fourth quarter earnings. So Alibaba tomorrow, we've got AMD, we've got Google, we've got GM, we've got PayPal, Starbucks, loads and loads and loads. A lot of this is aftermarket though, so today and tomorrow we might find we still sit in the consolidation a little bit. And yeah, still just loads. Got Amazon. So yeah, big week. And obviously it's the end of the month today. So we might find a good, decent amount of volatility today as they start selling off positions and getting flat for the end of month, basically, end of month reporting. So profit take end of month quite often. So we'll see what happens with that one. But we'll have a look at the markets at the moment. Yeah, Andy, massive morning, Andy. Massive news week this week. Right. Let me just flip back over. That's my other profile. While that's thinking about that, so just want to quickly run over some trades that have finished. I'll do this on the VPS because it's easier. So H1M5, we had some trades close out this morning on 3 of them actually. Aussie CAD, nice little trade from Friday, closed out today, still pushing that one. Aussie dollar, US dollar, again, that was one from Friday, played out really nice and easy. And a pound US dollar, that was a Thursday trade, and that one just closed out this morning as well. So nice little bit of profit this morning on that one. So that's up to just over 7.5%. Hi Sammy, good to see you again. Blinded. Sammy's an old live room person from last year, by the way. That's why I know. I DM you Euro Cot screenshot as net are long now. Rahat. Yeah, I'm not looking at. I'm open. Open interest on the cot is not net long. Where'd you get that from? The 25th. Oh, that's calculated differently. Yeah. There's lots of different ways of calculating the cot. Yeah, I mean, the way that I do it, I work on what's called the flip. It's a totally different measurement to what you've just shown, what you've just DM'd me. So I'm working on percentage long versus percentage short. I'm not working on overall amount. The reason I don't work on overall amount, so what yours is showing, I don't know if you can just about see that, can't you? Yeah. What yours is showing is a different statistic, basically, from the COT report. So the COT report's got somewhere in the region of 70 columns of data, and you can calculate it in lots of different ways. But mine is what's called the flip, which is basically percentage of open interest, long short. So, yeah. Sorry, let me go back to this. So that was the H1 M5s. We just closed out as well this morning. H4 M15 has closed out. Pound US dollar. So there's 3 positions on that one. Two, 3, closed out this morning. So that's doing pretty well as well. Sorry. So this is this is COT. This is H1M5 in line with COT. That one. So that's bagged 12% this month. This one is on 10%. This is H4 M15. This is H4 M15 trend pullback. That's on 11% this month. And 7.5% for the H1 M5. So yeah, all the EAs done really well this month. Really nice profit across the board. Obviously, normally you wouldn't trade every single one of them, but if you did, well done. Right. So let's have a quick look at the markets and where we are at the moment. Which site is showing earnings? So I use basically it's ii.co.uk. It's called Interactive Investor. Yeah, it's just ii.co.uk. And that just gives you an overview of the earnings. You can go in and have a look at the charts on them all as well. Eventually, when it loads, you can have a look at the charts on them. But yeah, it's a good site. Just gives you the earnings. It's just really easy. I just like it because it's easy and it tells you whether they're pre-market or aftermarket as well, because obviously aftermarket has an impact on the following day rather than that day. So we got pre-market, Exxon. Everything on Tuesday is aftermarket, so that will all have impact on Wednesday's movement. It's just quite nice and clear. That's why I like that one. Right. Okay, so that's COT. That's news. Big news week. We'll have a look at the indices. start with the S&P. Hello, S&P. There we go. Right. So, S&P, we had a big move on Friday at last. So, last week we obviously got stuck. We had this massive hammer put in, which was really nice, and we thought, yeah, this is the end. Now we're bouncing off the 200, off we go. And then basically we had 3 days of rotation where we just got stuck in this big accumulation here, and officially we are still in the accumulation at the moment. Yeah, so there's this wick high there, wick low there, and this, you can see where I've got these red lines drawn on here, that one there and that one there. That is this candle. So until we break out of this range of this massive candle, we're in an accumulation. We're still in the accumulation at the moment. So if we wick out the top of this and close back down in here, we are still in this accumulation. Until we break one of these levels, there's no real directional bias on this. If we can break and hold that way, I would say we're probably coming up for that pullback. But very, very difficult at the moment to know what's going on with the indices. NASDAQ is obviously the same at the moment. We're having an update at the moment, but how many times have we seen this this last week where, you know, we're having a lovely big London and then New York just collapses it, and London's not doing well and New York pumps it back up again. So literally we are just playing rotations. So bias wise, difficult still. So I'm still scalping basically, small time frames on it. I'm still really, really, really tempted to jump in short when we get back up to the 24. So if we could find support at that level, or potentially here, so we find some resistance up there. If we can get up there in this area, I'd be really interested in shorting this. But I really want to see what happens with the earnings this week. So if the earnings come out this week, we get lots of nice positive earnings as we had last week, and the market still goes, nah, not interested. I really can't see it rallying very hard. So it's tough conditions at the moment. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens this week. But the doom and gloom of everybody forecasting a collapse seems at the moment to be holding. Crypto is following the indices. So again, if you look at the crypto, yeah, it's not looking good, is it? We are in sort of an accumulation down here. This big candle here, we just stuck down here at the minute, holding. So not looking good. Crypto is actually down today, even more than the indices are. So look at this big buying rally attempted, completely squashed. So yeah, not looking good across the board really on indices. Andy, S&P, as long as 45.50 holds on the upside, we're looking for a new low to be made. Well, yeah, I mean, there's lots of figures out there you can chuck around. You know, there's all sorts of wave theories you can use and all sorts of stuff. But at the end of the day, if the market's going to crash, wave theory and every strategy just gets thrown straight out the window. Doesn't mean anything. If there's an economic collapse, there's an economic collapse. The best theory in the world will just be bleh. So if this is holding off of levels, then yeah, I think 45.50 is a decent shout on this, getting back up to here, because we've got good levels here around there. So that 45.50 level around there, we've got decent accumulation area. There's a lot of volume in there. That volume was rejected, so this whole area here is kind of the potential resistance, which would tie in very nicely with a drop. So if that level gets rejected, I think that would be an absolute perfect play to the downside, and obviously start targeting those lows, but really look out below. You know, but we haven't seen a collapse like that for decades, so who knows? We will see. Just don't want to be on the wrong side of it, hence not taking any positions at the moment. Keeping powder dry. This is exactly where I would buy it normally. Exactly where I would buy it. And it looks completely supportive of a buy. Right now, it's like, yep, it's a long. But I'm just not convinced. So, not going to risk it. Right. So, playing short, just playing scalping on the indices basically at the moment. So, ADRs today. A few ADRs have hit today. We'll start off with those. Aussie dollar Swiss. Lovely bearish engulfing going in right now on the Aussie dollar Swiss on M5. So we're up at 100 ADR. M15. Just look at levels. See if there's anything interesting here. Nothing. What on earth is that? Why have I got 20 moving average on my chart? Must have been looking at something over the weekend. So, yeah, basically, lovely big selling area here. We started this down move. This is an area where we should start to run into some selling pressure. Obviously, at the moment, it's just starting to reject off of there. If it can push up a little bit more today, that's a nice looking little short there. To see if this is Swiss franc related. Yeah, this looks like it's the Swiss franc week, which is why this one's pushing. So Aussie dollar Swiss, as soon as we get some Swiss franc strength coming through, obviously that will tend to drop. The Aussie is a short on the cot at the moment, so looks pretty good for a short. Aussie dollar yen. Another nice area approaching on that one. M5 still looking strong, so just wait for reversal alerts on these if you want to take these. But again, Aussie dollar yen, I really fancy things short against the yen at the moment. So we'll see. But I haven't got any real directional bias on this yen at the minute. It's just weak at the moment, but it is kind of choppy as well. It keeps getting these moments of strength coming through. But I mean, just about to get an H4 reversal alert on it as well. So it's looking pretty bullish at the moment. But overall, still a short. So we're getting up into the area really from market structure, where we would be starting to look for the next leg down. So we're extended, and that's a good little short opportunity there on that one. When you get some, you need to wait for some signs of weakness though. At the moment, it's like a steam train, so don't get in the way of it. Aussie New Zealand, same story. Bear in mind, a lot of these Aussies and New Zealands as well will be pumping ahead of the news, because we've got loads of news this week on the Aussie and the New Zealand. So they'll be manoeuvring themselves ready for the news releases. So again, if you get these big strong pushes and we get accumulations and continuations on them, it's probably because they're just waiting to build up positions to drop it as soon as news comes out. So just pay attention. You've got to think a little bit ahead when you see big movements happening. Think like the market, think like what the banks will be doing. They'll be building positions in one direction, making profit, and then they'll be waiting for a news event to move back the other way to take their profit off. So Aussie dollar is Wednesday and Tuesday. So any of these moves you see today could easily be reversed very, very quickly in one day off their news events. And obviously bear in mind there's light liquidity as well, because the Aussie news releases are early morning when London and New York are sleeping. So the liquidity is light, so the movement tends to be much, much faster and harder. So Aussie New Zealand, that looks like a good little short as well. Euro Swiss, always a good short. This one's actually pushing, which is lovely. So Euro Swiss obviously has been very short for a long time. Had a reversal alert, lovely 3-bar reversal down there. We're pushing beautifully up into the 24.72 area. So market structure on this one is still low, high, lower low. Should be looking for a lower high. Potentially though, we have had a move back up, which was quite strong, but that was based off the Swiss franc weakness, not the euro. So to me, this is a lovely area to start looking for sell opportunities on Euro Swiss. So it's pushing up very nicely at the moment on the Swiss franc weakness. Pound odd has just hit as well. So look for reversal opportunities on that one. That is pretty good. Euro Swiss. Pound odd, the one that's just hit, literally just hit. to the downside. Strong Aussie dollar at the moment. What's the pound doing overall? Coming down. Weak pound at the minute as well. So we've got a weak pound. We've got a strong Aussie dollar. Therefore, pound Aussie come down to the bottom. So for the pound, let's look at where we're potentially going on this one. So if the pound is right and we are going to be strengthening up, we're looking for a pullback into here, into this range somewhere. So this whole area here. Yeah, big buy zone there. So this is where I would be looking potentially for a bounce. So if we're going to get this trend holding, this support resistance here is obviously where we would look for the first level of support on the bounce back. And by then, obviously, moving average will have come up because obviously it's accelerating as it's come up. Nicely extended on the 4 hour. So if you'd have taken this counter trend on the 4 hour, you'd have got into it on Friday short. You'll have been paid out on that one now. So basically an ADR to the downside already dropped. So looking nice for long opportunity on the pound odd. So nice pullback. I'd like to see it get down to 150. If this can get down further today, even better. This is your most recent area of resistance. This one has already sort of been a support with that accumulation before we pushed out. So we've got this level here, which is yesterday's previous day's high, which is 100 ADR. So if it doesn't bounce there, potentially it could bounce at 125. If not, we're coming down to 150, 175. So looks really, really good at the moment, that pound odd. It's only just got extended though, and it's just bouncing off right now. So might be rejecting straight away off the 100 and we're off. So keep an eye on that one. New Zealand dollar Swiss, that was just turning over as well. So the New Zealand dollar and the Aussie dollar both doing fairly similar things in the Asian session. We just taken out the Asian highs on that one. Reversal alert's quite far away on that. Long term, this is a double bottom. A bit like the euro, we've got a little bit of potential strength coming through, but this is mainly off the back of Swiss franc weakness, and the same as the euro Swiss. This is a short. So with the COT just flipping long on this, potentially you could be looking at longing the New Zealand dollar now. Certainly some money coming in for it, and obviously we've got news this week from New Zealand as well. So there's a lot of news with unemployment coming out for New Zealand this week, and was there something else for New Zealand? Just have a look at the calendar. Oh, no, that was it. The rest of it was Aussie, wasn't it? So yeah, we got New Zealand unemployment. So potentially with the New Zealand dollar, we may see a little bit of strength coming through. But again, this is all driven by the Swissy. Everything you trade against the Swiss franc is driven by the Swiss franc. The Swiss franc powers up and weakens, and when it does, it just takes over whatever currency it's trading against. So at the moment, we've got a really weak Swiss franc. Therefore, we're getting some decent movement. We've got a pretty strong New Zealand as well, which is why we're getting this big ADR move. So any strength off the Swissy on that one, be looking for shorts. But yeah, that looks really nice as a short, isn't it? I mean, it's going down. We didn't get extended on it. I took the longs down here when we got massively extended. Lovely W formation went in at the bottom there. But at the moment, we're not sitting anywhere. So would be more inclined to be shorting this than longing it based on obviously the way it's going at the moment. So that's all of your ADRs. There's a few there, good opportunities. That pound odd looks really nice. All the Aussies actually look really nice as well. So these are all looking pretty good for short opportunities. From an H4 perspective, we looked at lots last week. We had a lot of stuff getting massively extended last week. A lot of that is all playing out already. So most of the stuff you would have got into last week is all starting to come to fruition now. Pound US dollar long is the only one I've really got that's in any drawdown at the moment. So yeah, everything else on this that I've got running is kind of all playing out on the EA. So let's whiz through all of these. Aussie dollar CAD. So Aussie dollar CAD, it's just about to come out of extension. Big style. So this is already played out. So if you got into this one last week, I got out of this on the first push here. So I got into it down here. I got into it there as well, actually. Got out there. So again, you would have started entering probably here. You wouldn't have got any alerts until you got there. So that would have been an initial entry on it. Second entry would have been somewhere in this accumulation down there. So if you're in this one, you're in profit on it already. So that one's already played out. The Aussie CAD from last week. That was nicely extended. Obviously down to... Didn't quite get down to 20, did we, last week? 21. So we were extended to there. Euro US dollar. That one's just starting to play out now. Again, Euro US dollar, like I said, I don't long the Euro. So especially not against the US dollar with the way the US dollar is at the moment. But like I said last week, you are going to get a pullback on this. But remember I said, just be careful. The pullbacks on this are very, very small. We could well be looking at the pullback happened already today. So difficult. I wouldn't long it. I'd love to short it if we can get up to here somewhere. I mean, the chances of this putting in a 200 ADR move, the US dollar's got to do something pretty crazy to get us up there. Not going to happen. So it's always very, very difficult to trade. All these euros are hard to trade because I like to trade pullbacks on the euro. And it just doesn't pull back very often. Doesn't really get up there that much. And whenever it does, it's obviously really easy to just short out of it. But it just goes on these massive, massive drops and want to wait for pullbacks. So any kind of movement to the upside on that one, be looking for shorts, but not going to be long in it. But it could play out quite nicely if you get in long on this or you are long on this off that reverse alert or for that retest. That's where I'd like to see it get to. But it's going to take days to get there, if it can get there. Bear in mind we've got non-farm payroll. So there is a possibility this week that the US dollar will weaken into non-farm. And then they'll use non-farm to pump it. So there is that possibility as well. So just bear that in mind. If we are going to see a weak US dollar this week, obviously this Euro US dollar is the Dixie. It's the inverse of it. So we may well see this pushing up this week. And if it does, obviously, opportunities to get in ahead of non-farm on Friday. Pound New Zealand is also extended to the upside. Again, you got in, if you were playing this, you got into this on Friday, looking to pull back down 100 ADR, somewhere down to there. Now that we've had a confirmation of the long bias on this, possibly looking for longs on it. So any kind of pullbacks for longs, but just bear in mind with this one how far away you are from the moving average at the moment still. This one's been kind of hovering way far above the moving average, the 24, for a long time, and it's pushed even higher above the 24. So I'm always wary of taking longs on small pullbacks when you're that far away from the 24 and the 72. It's extended and embedded, and quite often we'll find we get that big sort of pop to the downside. So this would be where I'd look to get in. If we can get maybe an H1 extension on the RSI down there. It's going to take quite a bit to get down there. Yeah, I mean, this is what you'd be looking for. Decent pop pullback on the hourly. To get there, you're going to need to come back down below these lows, probably into this area here. So that I would use as support resistance somewhere around there for longs. But if you're in short on it, Friday was when you would have got in, but not gone anywhere yet. Not a great one to short at the minute. Pound New Zealand. New Zealand dollar CAD. Where are we? New Zealand dollar CAD. So again, just didn't fancy this. Just really, 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 really embedded, isn't it? Aussie dollar CAD has just hit ADR as well. Oh, sorry, that's just an extension of ADR because we were already extended. Yeah, so we're up. Oh, no, that was just hit. So 100 ADR, Aussie dollar CAD. Still going. Got a nice tight reversal alert on this one now because we just made a new high. Reversal alert has jumped from there all the way up to there. So much tighter entry on that one now. Loads and loads and loads and loads of room down. That's potential sticking point. Other than that, down to there. New Zealand dollar CAD. So this one will be pushing as well. That's just pushing up into this area. 4 hour. So this was the area we were looking at for a bounce, which was that really old daily level here, which was a bit of a dubious support resistance because there's lots of areas it was respecting in there multiple times, but it's kind of a big accumulation, so difficult to call where this one was going to stop. That's the next level I've got drawn in there, 83. This is hard. I think New Zealand dollar now, we've just had a bit of a long bias on it. Potentially, it's a good looking long. We've got OPEC this week, which could affect the CAD. We've got tons of New Zealand dollar and Aussie dollar news. So the fact that this is so exhausted and so extended, it would make perfect sense for this to be the week we get that breather, we get that pullback to the 24, or we find a decent level of resistance on a pullback. So it started already this morning to look like it's showing signs of bullishness. Very, very, very extended and just ticking up nicely. So it does look like a fairly decent long. Aussie dollar, US dollar ADR as well. So big push on the Aussie. Aussie's on a mission. Really nice movement off the Aussie dollar. Let's just have a quick look at the news to see if there's anything been released for news for the Aussie. No, this is just positioning. So again, positioning ahead of the news tomorrow. 3:30 a.m. obviously is the rate announcement. It's forecast as expected. Again, with the rates, they are virtually always as expected. We don't get surprises. Every now and again, we'll get one. But it's always as expected. When news comes out as expected, you tend to get movement in line with COT. And COT is short. So for the Aussie. Obviously, so all these ones pushing up, all these big Aussie pushes we've got going on today are likely pullbacks. So what they're doing is they're taking profit on the moves. This move here in particular, taking profit on this move. We're up to 50% retracement virtually now, so we could go up to 61.8. And then enter on the second leg tomorrow when the news is released. So good opportunities for shorts on all of those. Pound New Zealand, New Zealand dollar CAD we were just looking at, weren't we? Did I cover that one? Yeah, so I'm undecided on New Zealand. I really, really like this as a long. The reason I like it is just because of the fact that it is so far away from that 24. We've had a big move down. That was our profit take move, which wasn't a profit take move. It was just a pullback and entry into the next leg at resistance. So there's not really on this entire move, we've not had a pullback yet, proper pullback. So it's well overdue, as you can see, and it's massively extended. So it's just triggering now this morning, but it's ahead of news. So we're going into Australian news tomorrow and New Zealand news tomorrow evening, and then Australian news again on Wednesday. So it's just a tricky one, but I like it as a long. So I think I don't think I've got that running on the EA. No, I've got Aussie dollar CAD. The E's running on that one, so that might get me into some Aussie dollar CAD. Oh, it's already got me into Aussie dollar CAD and out of it and profit. So, so yeah, I'm not taking that personally, but I still do like it. New Zealand dollar, US dollar. I just see your questions coming. I'll answer those in a sec. New Zealand dollar, US dollar, lovely reversal on the hourly. 4 hourly, been massively extended. So we looked at this one, didn't we, on Friday? We've been looking at this one all last week, or towards the end, the tail end of last week, after we had this push down. Accumulation, drop. So we've had 3 levels push down, which is very typical, 3 legs. and we've just got the reversal alert going in now. So extended. So if you got into this one last week, you will be in probably your third position on it now, and your average will be somewhere around ADR, I would imagine. So lovely 3-bar reversal alert, just coming up now nicely. This is obviously the US dollar. So we are long US dollar, which means we're short New Zealand US as a bias. So your counter trend pullback at the moment on this one. So as I said, there's a good chance we will see weakness on the US dollar leading into non-farm payroll, and then powering up on non-farm payroll. So this level here is obviously where we started that leg down. So that is where we would be looking potentially for resistance. So it looks good. So if you are long on this one, obviously you would have got in long on it last week, towards the end of last week, and it's playing out nicely at the moment. US dollar Swiss and US dollar yen, really, really, really stuck. You can see the strength and weakness in the Swiss franc and the US dollar here. They've been battling it out at the highs here for a good couple of days now, and no directional bias. So I still like it as a short. In the interim, we've got a really weak Swiss franc at the moment, obviously, which is meaning that even if we have a weak US dollar, this thing's probably still going to slightly do that. So still looks good. No profit take whatsoever on that move. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 candles up. 8 4-hour candles to the upside with no pullback whatsoever. So there's a lot of room to drop on this one. US dollar Swiss. It's very embedded, but I don't like the fact that we've gone into this accumulation up here, which is being caused by the Swiss franc. So I love the wicks, but I don't like the fact that it accumulates, because we quite often see, a lot of people will be drawing this in right now as a flag pattern, and they'll be quite right to do so. So flags break to the upside, but depends what was going to happen with the US dollar this week, whether they're going to power it up or weaken it. And we haven't really got any indication at the moment, apart from at the moment looks weak, but we're only sort of a couple of hours into the London session. So difficult to call that one, US dollar Swiss, but I do like it as a mean reversion trade. Again, on the hourly, you can see it's just not going anywhere at the minute. So it's due a drop. Definitely due a drop. And to me, kind of there is where I think we should be heading to, but I'd be on alert around there as well. And obviously this area as well. There's lots of places this could stop on the way down. We are expecting this to go that way. So, it could just do a really tiny little shallow pullback, which means that obviously if you're shorting this, you would need to be on your guard, wits about you. But I'd be looking for longs on US dollar overall. And US dollar yen, I really don't know what's going on with this one. I'm not trading the yen. I'm not trading the US dollar against the yen. So at the moment, this looks like it needs a lovely big profit take. But again, not getting it. So we had the big strong move off of the back of FOMC. We had a tiny accumulation, second leg put in. This could be the accumulation before third leg up, in which case then we're looking to get up to there to short it. So if you get in now, there's a good chance you're going to get that pullback on the US dollar weakness, and then you'll get out of that position. That will be a lovely area to start adding in. If it doesn't, and they decide to put another leg in this week before non-farm payroll, you'll be shorting it back down from up there. Who knows? Difficult. Too early to tell with the US dollar. Need to give it a day to figure out what it's doing. Ricardo, how do you set your RSI period to change automatically with the change of time frame? So I have 2 RSIs. It's a magic trick in MT4 and MT5. You can do it in both. So on my template, I have two MT4s. I have 2 RSIs. Yeah, 1, 2. This RSI is only shown on the 4-hour time frame and the daily. And this is the 14. And then I have another RSI, which is only shown on timeframes below H4, which is the 21 RSI. Yeah, so you just go into visualization, uncheck that, and you check the time frames you want this version of the RSI to show on. And then when you switch between H4 and H1, it shows whichever one you want. 14 on, oh yeah, there you go. Shallow M on US dollar Swiss 4 hour. Yeah, it's not very nice. It is, I mean, but it's not. M patterns, M and W patterns needs to, any reversal pattern, any pattern basically needs to play out straight away. Yeah. So if you get it, it either works, yeah, or it doesn't. This hasn't worked. We're in an accumulation. We're flagging. We're symmetrical triangling. We're consolidating. Hasn't worked. If that had broken and done that, like it did here, yeah, that's fine. So it pushed, it broke that high, and then it pulled back and it went. That W worked. This M has not. It's failed. But it's failed into accumulation at end of week, end of month, you know. So it could still come down. But at the moment, this is a coin toss. Yeah, it could go up, could go down. Don't know. So it's a 50-50 trade. Yeah, 50-50 trades with 2-to-1 risk reward. Exactly what you're looking for, isn't it? So yeah, it's a good opportunity to go short on it. But it's also got the potential to kick you in the butt. This is a massive move on the US dollar. But after a massive move, we tend to get either an accumulation pullback like this. And actually, this is a really good example. Where we are right now is here. Yeah. So that's what we got afterwards last time. 50% pullback on the move, which is what I'm expecting to happen before non-farm catapults it. Yeah. But I just don't. The other thing, you know, with any move that goes into accumulation can be the next leg up as well. So you never know. This is where you take your trades. Yeah, it's a typical stop loss trade. You wait for an accumulation after a push, and you take the reversal with a stop, and you assume a 50% retracement. That's a textbook short reversal. Whether it plays out or not, don't know. But yeah, big move off of FOMC. So, but you know, you look at Euro US dollar, as I say, Euro US dollar is inverse of the Dixie. So this is what we were looking at on the Dixie, was this accumulation, breakout, and then when I said it gets back into here, I would expect it then to pop out the other side, which is what it's done. And as it's pushed out the other side, I would expect it now to pull back into resistance or support. If you flip this up the other way and look at the Dixie, it will be doing obviously the opposite to this. So that's what I would expect to be happening. So weakness on the US dollar moving into non-farm. But this was a big old push, wasn't it? So first big, real strong FOMC we've had for a while, which is really lovely to see. Some faith coming back into the market and some proper market movement, getting some ADRs up and, you know, volatility. That's what we want. Liquidity, volatility. That's what we make money out of. Right, so that's all the 4 hours done. On the hourly fronts, we've got a couple at the moment. Euro Swiss. This is kind of already played out, so you've missed that one. Oh no, sorry, it's a Euro. It's a hit. Oh no, sorry, it's a hit to the upside. Yeah, Euro Swiss, nice looking long short opportunity. So this is our potential resistance, 125 roughly ADR. We've got another really nice, strong support resistance area here, 175. So nice looking short, Euro Swiss, multiple entries. Worst case scenario, we're going to make it all the way back up there. I mean, you've got to have a hell of a week Swiss franc to get us up there. Can't see it. This is more like a wick-off spring to me. Mind you, this isn't a far enough move. A wick-off spring, you would expect to do that and then that, and then that. But normally that would come after a big, strong move, and this is just really actually a pullback on that, isn't it? And not a very convincing one at that. 50, yeah, so it's not bad actually. So it's 50% pullback. Waiting for some Swiss franc strength. Let's have a quick look at all the other Swissies. Yeah, Swissies still weak. Everything's holding up against the Swissy. So as soon as the Swissy powers up, that'd be a lovely short. That is a lovely short now, actually. Euro Swiss. Am I on Euro Swiss? I'm on New Zealand Swiss. Well, I will be on New Zealand Swiss. That hasn't got extended though. So yeah, that's a nice looking short Euro Swiss on the hourly. And pound Swiss. Again, that's kind of the wrong direction now. It's only just managed to get to 68 as well. So don't look at that one. So that's it. That's all for this morning. All I've got from that perspective. Anybody got anything else they want to cover? Anything else they want to look at pairs wise? There's quite a few setups there, but a lot of this stuff, is what we had last week, which is all paying out now, isn't it? So we're banking profit on all of the RSI extensions that we've had over the last week, and positioning ahead of non-farm this week. So this afternoon, we've got PMI at 245 just after market open, and then we've got George speaking at 540. News-wise today, it's not a lot, really. So I don't think we're going to get any sharp movements off of news events today. So literally, it will be a case of just the market grinding to whatever levels it wants to get to ahead of non-farm. So non-farm payroll week is always either a big sort of rotational accumulation with most pairs, where we see every day kind of make a tiny little bit of a high or a tiny little bit of a low, and we kind of end up back where we were on Monday, or we see things reaching for levels ready to profit take. So if you see things screaming up this week and they get to levels of interest around about Thursday, typically we will get often a stop hunt drop on farm. So we just have to see where everything positions itself to this week, and then we can make decisions on where we want to go. But let's see how the week plays out. So I have nothing else really for you today. That's an overview of everything that's set up at the moment. I was going to go through every single pair, but you can kind of see. I mean, if you've been in here for a while, we're looking for extensions and support and resistance bounces, basically. So just look for anything that is getting close to the 24 moving average. These Aussies are really going for it this morning. Some really, really, really good moves off the Aussie. Screaming. Has anybody got any Aussie longs on? Off of these RSI extensions? Doing really well if you have. New Zealand obviously is being dragged along with it. So yeah, so these are all just kind of playing out, aren't they? So anything you got into is just going into your P&L, which is where we want it. So I'm basically going to be back at 2 o'clock as usual. We'll have a look at where we've got to today and have a look at anything that's paid out today. And I'll be doing a little bit more futures this afternoon as well, if anybody's interested. So I'll be just trading my Apex account this afternoon. Seeing if I can get some of this money back that's been stolen from me this morning. They've stolen my money. Horrible brokers. I'll get that back. EA and GA. EA and GA. It's not good, is it? Look, weak. Blech. Euro odd. Yeah, coming down. Obviously, always short in the euro. Beautiful bounce out of this propulsion move there. 3-bar reversal coming down. Again, just still shorting it. I'm always shorting the euro, so every time I get into the euro, it's always a short. That was a trade there. Didn't quite get extended on that one. On the hourly, that would have been a really nice extension. Yeah, so that would have been the trade. We probably looked at this one, didn't we, on Friday? It's obviously paying out now. So if you're in that one, it's short. Obviously, TP be down there. We'll get some kind of reaction out of there. About to get a reversal out on the hourly. It's 5 miles away, though. Nice liquidity run. It's just lovely short. But it was Friday. And pound odd. Same thing. Pound odd was Friday. So may have got into it there. We've covered this one already, haven't we? So here, this is where I'm expecting a reaction, 150 ADR. Big propulsion gap. And this is going to be a strong support area, either this level or this level. So play it down to there. I did, the EA did, but hit targets already this morning. Good. New Zealand dollar CAD coming along nicely too. New Zealand dollar CAD. Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit, this is a really, just be a bit careful. Look at this move here. Just be a bit careful with this one. We got OPEC and we've got oil Wednesday. So this has obviously got a good couple of days it can go without news. Actually tomorrow night, actually, is New Zealand dollar, isn't it? So it's only really got today and tomorrow before it's going to get affected by news. In fact, it could get affected tomorrow morning by news with the Aussie dollar announcement, the rate announcement at 3:30 tomorrow morning. So although it's working well, I'd be very cautious of a drop on this one. But I say it's got a nice pullback potentially. We haven't come back to the 24 for ages, so it's definitely due a nice strong profit take move. This is the one that's gone for ages, isn't it? It's lovely, really nice extension on that one. So yeah, right. So that's it for this morning. I've got nothing else really to cover this morning. Anything else you need, I'll be in the Telegram group. Come in the Telegram group if you're not already in there. This afternoon we'll have a look at any other setups we've got. Keep an eye on the dashboards if you've got them, on the 4-hour and the hourly especially at the moment. The hourly's playing out really well at the moment. All the EA entries I've had off of the hourly have been really nice, really low drawdown entries. So not as profitable as the 4-hour, but low drawdown, high strike rate. Not getting into any more than 3 positions really before we're out. So really, really nice, easy trades off of the H1M5 strategy at the moment, because everything's just been getting lovely, big, strong extensions, and then every reversal's been a really nice pullback. So Rahat, can use the EA on Sphere Tester to test strategies? No, you wouldn't need to, because you just use the EA in strategy tester. Sphere Tester is for manual trading, for manual strategy development, not for automated strategy development. Sphere Tester allows you to pause and take trades in the strategy tester with indicators. Different thing. So the EA, you just put it in the strategy tester and set it up and it does it for you. So right, so I'll be back at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Anything you need, let me know. And I will. I might do a little bit of scalping this morning. Just want to see what's going to go on with these, with this Dow, the DAX this morning. This gap, look, this gap, it wants to fill. It does want to fill this gap. What do we reckon? Asian stop, hunt and drop? Yeah, that's what I reckon. Getting short again. Looking good. I'm going to trade this on M5. I'm not going to get in on M1 because it's chopped me around a lot this morning, this thing. It's not been very friendly. I like the look of that, though. Nice retest as well. Reverse alert and retest on the 1 minute. We've just broken back down below support resistance. That's lovely. Definitely lovely. Take another one. Take another one. Like it. Like it a lot. So yeah, basically I'm targeting this gap fill today. So I will basically, as soon as we, if we, assuming this works now, if we push back down, every pullback and bearish, I'll enter until we get down there, and then I will get out of everything. But keeping a very close eye and just getting out, obviously, if it looks like it's pulling back. But I'm going to trade this on M5 so I don't get in too many positions too fast. These gaps, by the way, on indices, whenever you see gaps on indices, especially the DAX, because the DAX opens doesn't open until 7 a.m. UK time. So we quite often get really nice gaps on the DAX. You see, look, gaps like a stock, basically. There you go. There's one I played on Thursday. Look, that gap fill I played on Thursday. These are the strike rate on them is about 60% on the day. Gap fill. So they're really nice trades, and they're really easy to trade, basically. So you're just looking for a nice orderly. You can see it here. You can see what happened here. It's just a nice orderly push back to fill the gap. And quite often when you get a gap fill, you get a trend day following it. So you can quite often find that they will continue as they do when they fill the gap, but not always. Just got to keep an eye on them. Thought we can attach indicator. No, you can't attach an EA to the strategy tester. No, the EA is no, you can't. You can't attach indicators to Sphere Tester either. Sphere Tester is a EA. Sphere Tester is an EA. You can't test an EA in an EA, can you? So EA is actually Sphere Tester is an EA that allows you to take manual trades in the strategy tester. Go and have a play with it. It's really good. I haven't got it on this one, so I can't test it. I can't show you it, but I'll see if I dig it. I might have it in. It's on my other computer. That's the trouble. It's licensed to my other machine, so I can't actually use it in here. Anyway, go and have a play. Sphere Tester, it's really good. Right, so that's it for today. Well, for this morning. I will see you back at 2 o'clock this afternoon. If you like the stream, give us a thumbs up. And good luck this morning. Hope you have a good, profitable morning. Hopefully the indices collapse until round about mid-morning London. And then they can do what they like from there. I just want them all to come down this morning. That'd be very nice. Thank you very much. Okay, so I'll be back at 2. Hopefully you have a good morning, and we'll look at setups this afternoon, and again do a little bit of indices scalping futures this afternoon. All right, anything you need, come into the Telegram group. Otherwise, I will see you this afternoon at 2.